Senator Budd.
Thank you, Chairman. And again, congratulations to all of you for your nomination. I appreciate your willingness to serve. Mr. Tell, if confirmed, you'd oversee the Army Corps of Engineers. It's an organization predominantly focused on critical infrastructure and complex civil works. However, I hear from a lot of military leaders, particularly in North Carolina, that sometimes they're required to go through the Corps for certain things that just don't make sense, like minor building repairs, road repairs. It causes long waits, and it leads to substandard conditions for our troops, unfortunately. So if confirmed, would you be willing to look at such policies? And I've heard these policies referred to by my colleagues on both sides of the aisle. A few moments ago, I've heard them called black holes, red tape, bureaucratic nightmares. But would you take a look at these policies and potentially grant more authorities to local personnel to work on their own infrastructure?
Senator Budd, thank you for the question. You've addressed a problem that is one that is of critical importance for our nation, for our competitiveness, which has to do with permitting and making sure that we're streamlining the permitting process to ensure that interested parties, both in the economy and national security and defense-related interests, are able to do the work that they need to do to complete their missions. We have a patchwork of permitting requirements at the federal level that is confusing. We need to be taking processes that are currently being performed in series. A process doesn't move to the next desk until the first desk that completes the work on it. We need to be doing those things in parallel instead of in series to deliver results to the public. We need to be transparent about what the holdups are. We need to be communicating with stakeholders across the board in a very clear way, even if it's not the answer that they want to hear, so that they can do what's necessary to move progress forward, both with regard to our economy and national security.
I want to continue on. The Army Corps has played a huge role in the cleanup from Hurricane Helene in western North Carolina. You're very familiar with that. So I appreciate your addressing it, but will you commit to furthering the Army Corps' role in helping communities recover from natural disasters, and specifically for North Carolina, Hurricane Helene?
Senator Budd, absolutely. And as you acknowledged, this is a project that is of critical importance to western North Carolina, but also East Tennessee and other surrounding areas, South Carolina, West Virginia, Southwest Virginia. This storm affected a large swath of the country. It devastated communities with floods that they couldn't even believe were occurring. And of course, the Corps of Engineers' primary responsibility under the National Response Framework is debris removal, which wound up being a huge issue as plant matter, vegetation, and personal property were washed into the waterways, further exacerbating the problem. And I'm pleased to say that the Corps of Engineers was one of the first federal agencies on the scene. I'm disappointed to say that other federal agencies were not as responsive as the people of North Carolina deserve. And I look forward to working with you in every way possible to make sure that they recover from this disaster.
I look forward to working together to get Western North Carolina back on its feet. Thank you.
Senator, you've done an incredible job being there on the ground. We've noticed it. Senator Hagerty's been there with you as well. Thank you for your attention to this.
And we'll continue. Thank you. Mr. Anderson, thanks again for being here. Congrats on your nomination. You know, as artificial intelligence becomes more common and unmanned collaborative combat aircraft makes its way into the force structure, do you see the Air Force manpower requirements changing in the coming years?
Thank you for the question, Senator. As we develop new capabilities and new platforms, obviously we will require a new generation of airmen and guardians in order to operate, maintain those systems. And so, yes, I do see an increasing manpower requirement. If confirmed, my intention is to get on the inside of this very vigorously and try to lead turn and to work with this committee.
Thank you very much. Dr. Napoli, since 9/11, the United States has made great strides in preventing terrorists from gaining nuclear material that could be used in an attack against the United States. However, the threat still exists. And I'm concerned that as we focus on great power competition, that we let the pressure off of these terrorist organizations from gaining access to nuclear material. So if confirmed, how are you going to address this challenge?
Thank you, Senator.
non-state actors seeking nuclear and radiological weapons and the associated technologies for those weapons is of the utmost importance. There is an incredible team at the Office of Defense Nuclear Nonproliferation, both here in Washington and spread throughout the laboratories and field offices that are addressing this specific issue. I've not been read into all the details that are, the tools and tool sets that we have at our disposal to address that issue, but if so fortunate to be confirmed, I look forward to addressing that issue with the utmost urgency.
Thank you very much. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Budd. Mr. Tell, I hope once you take office, you'll give advice to the Congress about what legislation you need to remove these bureaucratic roadblocks.
Senator Wicker, I look forward to doing that. It's critically important to our nation.
Thank you, Senator.